Friedlander is the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Discovery Life. He's joining us on What's Next today. Life is reality and life happens. And I must say, Gareth, I've got a few policies with Discovery Life. So disclosure here. I'm insured with Discovery Drive, Discovery Insure at least, and also the medical aid. So well into your program. And firstly, good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm very well, Aki. Thank you. Thanks for having me on your show, and it's wonderful to have you as a great client of ours as well.
It's a huge pleasure. It's a huge pleasure. Listen, the reality is that the world and South Africa has been through a very tough last 2 years. We don't need to, highlight what COVID has done, and many of us have lost many loved ones. But life insurance is reality. This is part of life, I guess, and we need to be prepared as best possible. Now, proactive claims. Now, this is quite unique. I was doing a bit of reading about this. What are proactive claims? And this is quite unique to Discovery Life because I don't read about it in too many other places. Why is it so important to Discovery Life to be proactively finding claims for your clients?
Yes, Aki, it's interesting. As you put it, in the life insurance space, the last 2 years have been tragic. Frankly, we just released our stats on our 2021 claims. And unfortunately, many records were broken. We paid out nearly 12 billion Rand in claims in total. Our life cover claims were up 173% on the 2020 figures. So that is almost a tripling of life insurance claims in 2021. The large majority of those being COVID. We saw 60% of that payout for COVID-related deaths.
Wow.
It was a tragic year, but as you say, it was a year for the life insurance industry to be there for their clients, and for sadly for their clients' families as well. So some really sobering statistics there. But it is the reason for being of life insurance is in tragic times like we've been through to be there for our clients. I think what was really encouraging is that during this very tough and very active period for life insurance, we paid out all valid claims. We only repudiated less than 1% of the claims submitted to us due to things like non-disclosure or misrepresentation or fraud. So it's a very small percentage. And actually what we do is we go out and find claims to pay for our clients. I think there tends to be the general perception from the man on the street that life insurance companies do what they can not to pay a claim. And
Yes.
we try to do exactly the opposite. We're fortunate in that we have access to Discovery Health data, and that allows us to know when our clients might have gone through a life-changing event. Remember, life insurance isn't just for death cover. It's for a whole host of life-changing events like disabilities and severe illnesses. And there are in fact over 300 different conditions that are covered and that may qualify for payouts on life insurance. So what we do is we mine our database every day, and we can see when our clients may have had an event on Discovery Health that results in them qualifying for a claim. And we proactively reach out to the client and the advisor and say to them, look, we think that you might qualify for a life insurance claim. Please go through the process with us. And we pay out many claims every year on that, using that proactive claims process where we really leverage our data to find claims. I think that really bucks the trend of what people think of the life insurance industry. We go out of our way to find claims to pay for our clients.
Wow. I mean, that's the first to have a business that goes out of the way to do things like this. Those 300 conditions you spoke about a second ago, it's interesting. Is that now that disability cover? Because I know with life insurance, I've got a life insurance and there's also a disability one. So if, for example, you have a dread disease, you get a certain payout. Are those 300 conditions just life insurance that you talk about? Or is that dread cover?
Yes, so under life insurance is typically just paying out on death. There's a little bit more to that, where we'll pay out on terminal illness or slightly less severe illnesses. But then what you're referring to are other types of insurance cover or benefits that fall under the life insurance umbrella. So when you buy life insurance, you buy some death cover, but you would also look to cover yourself for severe illnesses, for disabilities, which was typically related to you not being able to work and earn an income. And you can also buy
Yes.
other benefits, which we can unpack in a little bit later. But yes, what I'm referring to with those 300 conditions is dread disease, critical illness, we call it severe
Okay.
illness, but in the industry, there's various terms for it. But it's that cover, which on an illness happening to you or your family for that matter, we make a
Yeah.
payout. And yes, it's obviously it's your major ones like your cancers, heart and artery events, strokes, but it's a whole host of others, over 300
Okay.
conditions. Some of them are quite obscure. And we actually find that some of them, and particularly the ones that we've had success in picking up proactively, are your more obscure conditions. Things like retinal detachment in the eye.
Okay.
There's some types of ear conditions. So there's a whole host across all body systems, and in many cases, people might not even realize that that condition that's happened to them would have qualified for a life insurance claim. So that's where we've been particularly successful, is actually notifying clients, hey, you've had this condition. We think it might qualify for a severe illness claim. Let's have a look. Let's get some more details. And it maybe begs the question on how many claims in the industry go unclaimed by clients who don't even put in a claim because they didn't
Yeah.
think that a condition actually qualified for a claim. So this is a unique capability that we think really protects clients from that scenario of having a condition and not really claiming for it.
Now, that's absolutely fascinating. Obviously, not a pleasant subject, but I think it's an important one. And life insurance, when you look at your loved ones that you're leaving behind, you want to leave them in a place that they're comfortable. And the last thing you want to do is, have your loved ones that you've left behind struggle in any way. Now, let's look at those tech trends, because I mean, technology is what runs through my DNA, and the tech trends in insurance are absolutely fascinating, right? You talk about virtual underwriting, there's AI quotes, and the changing landscape of financial advisors moving their operations to be more online. I mean, I remember my advisor Adam. He came with a tablet, and I signed on a tablet. I didn't have to sign as gazillions of forms as I did in the past. So it was all done virtually, and technology is playing a very important role in your industry, isn't it?
Absolutely, Aki. I know it's a passion of yours, and it is one of ours too. So, like with, I guess, every industry, when COVID hit and lockdowns hit in 2020, the world changed. All of a sudden, a business that was very much human to human, where we used to have to see clients every day, advisors were meeting clients face to face, nurses were meeting clients face to face. All of a sudden, we were thrust into a different scenario where we couldn't see each other, and we needed to keep clients and advisors safe. And very quickly, we leveraged technology to ensure that we could effectively do business as normal, but without seeing each other. So we launched very quickly a few new technologies. One of them was called our virtual underwriting capability. And essentially, what that meant is that clients in the comfort of their own home could talk to one of our underwriters or one of our medical professionals, go through the underwriting process, the questions, and actually have their policy activated on that day without seeing anyone. We also leverage all of our data in the background because we've obviously got an enormous amount of health and wellness data, which we used so that we didn't need to go and get unnecessary blood tests from clients during that period of time as well. So many of our policies were able to just be activated on that day with that through that virtual underwriting process without actually seeing anyone. You mentioned about signatures as well. There's very simple digital acceptance methods that have been built where clients can literally go end to end within a few minutes and have a policy active. So that was one of the, I think, big leaps forward for the industry, and I think one that we've been working on for years, but probably needed COVID to happen to get almost the acceptance of clients and advisors that this is the new way of doing work. And then another technology that you mentioned, I guess AI is the biggest buzzword of late, and something that is being utilized very effectively in many industries. What we launched during 2020, post the pandemic, was a new technology which we called AI Quote. And essentially what this technology does is it used OCR technology, ocular recognition, to effectively read a quote. So if you're sitting with any life insurance policy in the market, be it at any one of our competitors, what you could effectively do is take a picture of your policy on your phone, upload that, and the OCR technology reads all the relevant information and extracts it, and it then passes it very quickly through a competitor comparison algorithm, which compares hundreds of thousands, or I think it might be in the millions, of combinations in a matter of seconds, and creates very quickly the like for like discovery quote. And then you can go through the virtual underwriting process that I talked about. So effectively, you can go from the snap of a picture on your phone to having a fully comparable policy, to activating that policy almost immediately. So this technology was developed during the COVID period, and we were really humbled when it won last year the Life Insurance Innovation of the Year award in the global EFMA Accenture Innovation in Insurance Awards. So this is, globally relevant stuff, and was recognized as the biggest innovation in insurance last year.
Wow, that's phenomenal. Congratulations. I didn't know you guys had won that particular award. So even if I don't have Discovery Medical Aid, if I don't have Discovery Insure, for example, and I want to take out a life insurance, I'm in the market, I simply take a competitor's quote that I've got, upload it on a portal, on your portal, you compare it and you say, well, listen, this is what we can come up with better. Is that basically how it works?
That's correct, Aki. So we haven't focused that on the medical aid space yet. We've got the life insurance and the short-term insurance side of it, where that AI quote operates. But that's essentially what it is. If you're sitting with a insurance policy at any company today, you can upload that through a picture, and we'll create the like for like. But then we also create, a quote with all of our unique features. Because
Yeah.
often people don't necessarily just want like for like, you want best of breed benefits. So yeah, we can pull that across very quickly. So those are two,
Yeah.
I think, examples of tech that we've brought into almost the process of quoting, underwriting, making it easier for advisors and clients to get policies and write business. But technology is
Yes.
manifested in a number of other areas as well. In the benefits themselves, we're starting to utilize technology, which is a strange concept. But one good example of that is, I think it was 2 years ago now, we launched what we call our lifetime disability benefit. Now, how this works is, wait, let me maybe tell you about disability. Disability cover is something that one takes out for the chance of becoming disabled and unable to perform your occupation. And that obviously has dire consequences. We need our income to support our families. And therefore, we want to know that if something were to happen to me where I couldn't work, I've got a lump sum available that effectively replaces my future income, so that my family will still have their standard of living protected. So that's typically what disability cover covers. It also you'd want to extinguish bonds and debts, things that you were servicing through your income. You would want to be able to pay off, and then ensure that your family and yourself can continue to live out this life now with your disability, but without that financial concern. So that's
Okay.
traditionally the disability market and how disability cover works. But the world has changed. With technology, we've actually seen that disability is no longer disability. People who've lost limbs or who are wheelchair bound can access some of the greatest new technology in the medical world that can give them a large portion of their ability back. The latest prostheses, the best wheelchairs, exoskeletons, robotics. There's a whole host of new technology coming out every month, it seems, that is really changing lives of clients with disabilities. I think you see the power of these when you actually look at scenarios. The difference of having a prosthetic that actually has a joint that works versus one that doesn't makes all the difference in can you play with your kids. So these sound like small things, but the access to the biggest and best technology out there will literally change that person's life and how they interact with their family. So how we've designed this new lifetime benefit is to say we've scanned the market for the latest technology. We call it medical technology. And when you've got a disability that is associated with this medical technology, we boost your payout in line with the cost of that medical technology associated with your disability. Where the thinking is that yes, you want to be able to pay off your debt and have an income, but equally, you want to be able to access the best technology to give yourself as much of your pre-disability lifestyle back as possible. So it's kind of changed the paradigm a little bit where we've said, yes, it's disability cover, but in this day and age, disability no longer needs to be something that you live with. It can be something through technology that you can access a large proportion of that pre-disability lifestyle back. And that's how we've designed that benefit. We call it the MedTech Booster, and it provides up to 300% of the sum assured for clients who need to access that medical technology.
That's absolutely amazing. I mean, that's real innovation. And, you talk about that exoskeleton and, how it improves lives. I mean, I was at the Consumer Electronics Show in Las Vegas a few years ago, and I actually witnessed this with my own eyes. I saw a guy who's been wheelchair bound for a long, long time, fitted with an exoskeleton, and they had a special piece of technology around his legs. And the further advancements of attaching something to your brain so that your brain impulses can tell you what you want your legs to do. And here you had this guy who has been in a wheelchair for most of his life, now wearing this exoskeleton and able to walk upright. I mean, this is life-changing technology. So why not make it available for everybody? So I think that's amazing.
It is remarkable.
And also, I think yeah, I mean, when you look at the cancer exome sequencing benefit, can you touch on that as well? Because we are getting to a point, and I was giving a talk just the other day where, our DNA has been sequenced, and, we are making such massive medical advances. You talk about supercomputers and you talk about the amount of processing that we've got available. We're going to be solving many of the world's health problems and discovering things about our DNA that, ultimately will make us extend our longevity going forward. So tell us about that cancer sequencing benefit that you guys have got as well.
Yes, Aki. So, you make a good point. The world is progressing so quickly. And I think the medical technology space is prolific. We are getting great news from our medical fraternity almost every month about new breakthrough treatments. And, we're trying to design the life insurance product in a way that it's fit for purpose to, for these medical trends that we're seeing going forward. So cancer is right up on the list. In our claim statistics last year, we saw that 50% of all severe illness claims for women were cancer. Half of all claims were cancer for females. And for the first time in our history, for males, cancer had overtaken heart and artery. So it was now the leading cause of all severe illness claims in both females and males, accounting for about 34% in males and for 50% in female claims. So it's a big deal. And there's a lot of trends in the cancer space. I think while the sad reality that the incidence is increasing, the good news is that outcomes are getting a lot better. So firstly, early detection is huge. That is something that we push and incentivize every year through the Vitality program, incentivizing clients to go for their checks and screenings. And that saves lives. We've seen many clients who pick up their cancer much earlier, hopefully even at a pre-cancer stage or at a stage naught, where we will still pay. We've got an early cancer benefit that pays a small amount of the sum assured for going for that screening, picking up that cancer benefit. But then sadly, there are scenarios where cancer will emerge a little bit later down the line. And then it comes down to the whole treatment scenario. And one of the big breakthroughs is when you have the tumor sequenced and understand the genetics and DNA makeup of the tumor, that informs the best treatment protocol. Now, I'm far from a medical professional and certainly won't do the details of this justice, but we have designed in consultation with our medical team the ability to assist clients with paying for that cancer exome sequencing of the tumor to assist them with the best treatment protocol for their specific cancer. So that is a nice value add that's included in the product. And then I think what's also unique, which we're the only player in the market that provides this, is what we call our cancer relapse benefit. How it's worked in the past or traditionally in the industry with cancer is it's treated as kind of this progressive disease, which it is in most cases. But once you've had your payout of 100% of your cover, that's it. You'll never get paid again for any type of related cancer or relapse of cancer. And, when you've been through the sad kind of journey of a cancer survivor, there is, it's a hell of a journey. You go through, you get your cancer, you get the treatment, which thankfully treatment is getting better and better. Our survival probabilities are improving year by year. We're seeing much higher remission rates than previously. So the treatment is fantastic, and it really helps that we've also been picking up cancer earlier. But then once you go into that remission, it's still a fraught journey. You go each year or 6 months for those checkups and for the screenings. And sadly, the recurrence rate is incredibly high. Depending on the type of cancer, it kind of, it varies between, say, 50 and 90% in terms of recurrence rate for certain types of cancers. So hopefully that happens a long way down the line. But when that cancer recurrence comes back, the relapse happens, firstly, it's a devastating impact for that individual and their family who have already walked a long road and battle against cancer. But the industry comes back and says, sorry, we've already paid you for your cancer. And it's not typically in line with what that person is experiencing. They've now got a new cancer, so to speak. It's a relapsed cancer. In many cases, it's almost more devastating than the first diagnosis. And the treatment tends to be more aggressive when it's a relapse than the initial staging of the cancer. So we've developed what we call a cancer relapse benefit, which pays out up to 360% of the sum assured for one cancer progression. So when you get a relapse, where the industry would typically have said, sorry, we've already paid for this cancer, we continue to pay for that relapsed cancer up to a maximum of 360% of your sum assured. So I think a game changer looking forward.
So, Gareth, just to clarify, is that included in your initial cover that you take out for life, for example, or disability? Or do you have to have that additional benefit added in?
So it's included in what we call our lifetime, which is our kind of premier version of severe illness. So when you call it 2 million Rand of severe illness cover, as long as you select our Rolls-Royce benefit, which is called the lifetime option. By the way, we're seeing huge take-up. Since we've introduced this cancer relapse benefit on our lifetime option, roughly 75 to 80% of our policies with severe illness are sold under that lifetime option. And then it's automatic. Then that 2 million, on the first cancer, let's say it's a category, a severity A to D cancer, which is stage 1 to stage 4, you'll get paid at least 100%. In stage 4, you'll get paid in excess of that. But then if you go into remission and relapse, get paid 100% again and again, up until a maximum of 360. So you could, despite only having 2 million rand cover for severe illness, for one cancer progression, you could effectively get paid over 6 million rand for that particular cancer through
Well
that
done.
benefit.
That's a great benefit. Gareth, I mean, you touched on those awards and the innovation that Discovery Life launched, with those two innovations during the pandemic that were world firsts. I know you touched on it earlier, and I know you touched on the award, and I know you guys are quite modest when it comes to awards, but I think we do need to talk about it because it is a very prestigious award and it's a global award. This is the EFMA Accenture Insurance Innovation Awards that took place in Paris. And also the multi-organ benefit and the vaccination max payback limited offer. Can you touch on that as well, please?
Sure, Aki. So, sure, you go back to kind of March 2020, when the world had literally changed, and we were kind of scrambling to, work out what do we do as a life insurer. This is, when our clients need us to be there for them. We talked about how we had to change up the business in terms of underwriting, new business processes, quoting, enabling our clients and advisors to still operate with us, be it virtually, in the comfort of their home. But then we also looked at, well, what do clients need from a benefit perspective? And very quickly, we introduced a new benefit called the multi-organ benefit under our severe illness benefit. And it was really there to pay out for clients who were severely impacted by COVID-19. And typically, the way that organ failure had been kind of designed in the market wasn't appropriate for what was manifesting through the COVID-19 disease. So we found that there was a gap in the market, and we created this multi-organ benefit. We also had what we call our ICU benefit, which in the market had typically only paid out on traumatic ICU. So you have a car accident, you go to ICU, and if you're in ICU, you'd get paid. Whereas we made sure that our ICU benefit was for all ICU related events, which obviously the severe COVID cases ended up in ICU, sadly for clients. And that triggered payments under our ICU benefit and our multi-organ benefit. So we very quickly created a benefit specifically for COVID-19. And then later on, thankfully, vaccinations came out and the world started changing again, and becoming, some light at the end of this dark tunnel, as that rolled out during 2021. And we saw dramatic, kind of outcomes when it came to mortality rates for our clients who were vaccinated. And when you think about life insurance, what you do in the context of underwriting is you try and you try and understand information about that client that impacts their risk. And we became the first player in the market to reward clients for vaccinating, and to incorporate vaccination status into the rating and underwriting process for life insurance. We brought that out in July, and we rewarded clients with up to 100% of their premiums back in the first year, if they were fully vaccinated by that point in time. And we believe we were the first player globally to bring vaccinations into life insurance, rating, underwriting, and certainly to reward clients through our shared value model for that behavior that reduced their risk. And this has also been recognized, as you mentioned, by the EFMA. We're really proud of this particular nomination. We'll find out if it wins an award next week. But it has been nominated. Yes, thank you. And we're really proud of this one because it's under the category of sustainability and social impact. And that's obviously something that we feel passionately about. And we have seen really, really positive change as a result of incentivizing clients to vaccinate. We've seen huge take up in our book where over 80% of our high risk clients are now vaccinated, and at least 75% of our book are vaccinated from the data that we know, which puts us in line
Yeah.
with some of the highest vaccination rates in the world. Sadly, still a long way to go from a country perspective to get that vaccination rate up, but it's certainly been positively received, and thankfully recognized.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have done a superb job, and you're quite right. Being vaccinated reduces your risks dramatically. I've had my third vaccination already, and I remember when they first came, I think it was July 2021, if I'm not mistaken. But, I remember going to the setup you guys set up in Midrand at Gallagher Estate, and the efforts that you made at Discovery headquarters, and how you made that process easy for people to get vaccinated and reducing the risk. I mean, there's always going to be the haters, and there's going to be the deniers, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But the facts are on the table. If you get vaccinated, it dramatically reduces your chances of mortality when it comes to COVID-19.
Yeah,
So,
I can give you
yeah.
some good news. You're having had your booster already. We've just done a study where clients who've had boosters have now 99% lower mortality rate than an unvaccinated client. So it
Oh my
is
gosh.
incredibly effective. And something else that I can tell you is the combination of healthy living with vaccinations is incredibly powerful. So that is something that we've seen for our clients who engage in health and wellness and are golden and diamond vitality status. We've only had one recorded death to date for a golden diamond status client
Extraordinary.
who's been vaccinated. So it's a very, very powerful combination. And something else I can categorically say is that we haven't paid one claim for anything related to vaccine side effects. So there have been no
Oh,
negative impacts that have resulted in a client having a severe illness or a mortality on our book to date. So
oh,
it's very safe
I hope,
and hugely
yeah.
effective.
Oh, I hope the vaccine haters watch this part quickly. Not quickly, very slowly, and rewind and watch it again, please. But anyway, now tell us about the Discovery Health claims experience, Discovery Life claims experience, because it can be quite daunting, and there's tons of paperwork when there is a claim of any sorts, and you guys have got to do your research. You've got to find and check that all the facts match. But you've got extensive data sets to do this. And you mentioned earlier that technology is making these things a lot easier. And I guess that's what Discovery Life is renowned for in the insurance industry, the simplicity and how easy it is. And I guess that the same is with Discovery Life's claim experience. Have you guys made that easier to claim as well?
Yeah, yes, Aki. I think this is something that we track very closely year in and year out. Our claims experience across the board. So we've just released all our statistics, as I mentioned earlier, record claims year. But when you kind of dig into the numbers, there are some really interesting and I think important trends that we're starting to see. Something that we are seeing is mental health, and the impact of that is just so important and something that we're focusing on as a group. We've sadly seen an 18% increase in suicides year on year. And that, along with other mental health or mental health related claims, have been on the increase for years now. So that's something that we as Discovery and as Vitality are focusing heavily on. We've been very successful in changing clients' kind of physical healthy behavior. And I think we are looking to bring that same behavior change and incentives into the mental health and wellness space. Other trends that we've seen over the period of time, I think the importance of healthy living is something that we obviously track very, very closely, Aki. It's our reason for being. We call it our shared value model, and it's how do you make people healthier and enhance their lives. And ultimately, we do that through our Vitality program, whereby we incentivize clients to be health aware as well as active and undertake activities that improve their health and wellness. And they then get a Vitality status, which can be up to Diamond Vitality status for the most engaged clients in Vitality. And then what we do is we track their mortality and morbidity rates each year relative to clients who don't engage in Vitality. And last year, we saw a 59% lower mortality rate for our engaged clients relative to our unengaged clients. So that brought their death rate down last year by basically 60%, which is quite a remarkable statistic if you think about it. I mean, there's so many deaths that you can't avoid. There's genetics. You always hear about the incredibly fit athlete who drops dead of a heart attack. It does happen. There's motor vehicle accidents. There's a lot of there's a lot of unnatural deaths. So the ability to bring down your entire mortality rate by 60% through just health and wellness activity and awareness is an incredible outcome. And obviously that's good for us as a life insurer. It will mean that people live longer and therefore lower claims, and that improves profitability. But instead of putting that through to profitability, what we do is we pass that surplus back to the client through what we call our payback benefit. And essentially, I've given a very complex explanation of it, but essentially for a client, it manifests quite simply. Engage in your health and wellness and earn up to 100% of your premiums back through the lifetime of your policy. And last year, we paid 1.3 billion Rand to clients through this payback benefit. That's just for being healthy. That tends to be, the life insurance industry doesn't do that. Life insurance is there to pay out, for the worst of times, for claims of illnesses, and certainly we did that in record numbers last year. But we're also paying significant numbers to clients who are healthy and who are taking steps to improve their health and wellness. And 1.3 billion Rand last year. And that's an increasing trajectory over time that we're paying out through those paybacks to clients for being healthy. So that's really working very well. And obviously that's a virtuous cycle. As clients then get that financial benefit, next year they want to be even healthier. And that's something that plays out quite strongly in that respect. If I can, one other manifestation of that shared value model, Aki, is what we call it our global education protector benefit. And this is a benefit that was designed for parents to protect their children's education. I think if you ask any parent, what is kind of the most important thing that if you were to pass away or become disabled, that you just wanted to make sure is that your kids get a good education. And what this benefit does is if it allows parents to take out this particular benefit, this product, that if they pass away or become disabled or ill, if it happens to either of the parents, we as Discovery Life will indemnify the full education of that child, private schooling level education, from creche to university. So real full indemnification of that schooling for the child. But then what we did is we wanted to also use this shared value model to make the parents healthier. And what we said is we introduced a product called the University Funder benefit. And how that works is it says to clients, engage in Vitality, get healthy each year, and you'll earn an additional 5% each year of funding for your child's future university. So each year, and this works with my wife very well, the one thing that that gets her to go to gym and be healthy is if she knows that it's funding our daughter's future university education, she's not going to miss out on getting to Diamond status. And so each year when we get to Diamond, we get an extra 5% of our daughter's future university education. And yeah, you
Fantastic.
can effectively fund, just through healthy living, up to 100% of your child's future education cost. So peace of mind that if something happens to you, the full schooling is covered, but also the incentive that for being healthy, you're effectively building savings towards funding your child's future university.
Fantastic innovations, and at the end of the day, benefiting the customer, and assessing the risk and staying healthy. I mean, it's just a no-brainer, and well done to all those innovations at Discovery, and certainly just looking at the list of awards that you guys have won over the years, it's testament to the great work you guys are doing. Gareth Friedlander, who's the Deputy Chief Executive Officer of Discovery Life. Thank you for joining us on What's Next and sharing these innovations with us, and inspiring me to stay even healthier. You know, it's tough going to gym in winter, but you've inspired me to increase my visits on that weekly basis. Thank you so much for your time, Gareth.
Thank you, Aki. Always wonderful chatting to you. Thanks for having me.